Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to another Wednesday night right here at Sports Crib. Uh, as you can see on the bottom of the page there, we do have a, excuse me, a Cash App. It's $JEK3. All proceeds go to help us stay on the air and to that fantasy football jersey championship that we all crave. But I see my guys are all down here in the queue, Reggie and Mr. Carroll. So let's get them up here and get this show on the road. Good evening, Mr. Carroll.
Good evening. How are we doing?
Doing good. Got that Rico Suave look on. I saw the one you had on before with the dark glasses. We look like Secret Service agent there. Well, I thought we were going to get that look, but I see Reggie is also here. What's going on, Reg?
What's going on? Glad to be with you here, fellas. Ready to make it happen?
Yes, indeed.
Hey, only a few more weeks here till kickoff of our favorite season. So we're going to talk about that, but we're going to start off talking about a subject that we really get into, which is baseball. And want to know what you guys thought about the recent inductees. Of course, this was Billy Wagner's 10th year. It was a make it or break it year for him. But Bill, what do you think? We got CC, we got Ichiro, and we got Wagner. As I said, I think Ichiro is still sending notes to the guy that didn't give him that one vote.
Yeah, I'm ready to rant on that again. You're cranking it back up. I let that die down a little bit. Then I saw this subject, and now I'm going to rant about it for another 6 weeks here.
So go ahead. Well, go ahead, Reg. You want to start your rant first? Or you want
my rant would only be about the Suzuki, but I feel like Bill would have more substantive commentary on here. I'm only going to rant about the lack of the – I feel like it's criminal that this person who did not vote for Suzuki – is allowed to walk the streets. Like, we shouldn't be knowing who this person is. This person's clearly a menace to society. He's walking around out here. I don't know if it's a he or she, but they're walking around out here under this anonymity. They should show themselves to the people. That's all I'm going to say. That's my rant right there. And I'll talk about it more on my final thoughts, but we'll talk about it again later.
Okay. All right, Bill.
What I'm imagining now is Reggie getting the townspeople of Cooperstown to line the walkway like in Game of Thrones, and like there's a bell that rings as they walk through town. And shame,
man. Absolutely, man. We need to know, guys. That's all I'm saying.
It's like a tradition thing, right? I mean, that's what I feel like. It's just a thing they do because it's a thing they do. I don't know if they like discuss it. Who's going to be the a-hole this year that denies somebody, a unanimous vote? And sadly, Ichiro Suzuki is the sort of a last of his kind, right? A sui generis to a certain extent. The death of the contact hitter, to me, is one of the most... I mean, partially it's selfish for me. I was a slap hitter. I was the kind of guy that, back up to the box or opposite field, try to shoot a gap and turn a single into a double into a triple, occasionally a triple into an inside the Parker. I grew up wanting to be Joe Morgan and loving Rod Carew and being amazed by Wade Boggs. And of course, at the, of that era, the Mount Rushmore sort of starts with Tony Gwynn. There were years where Tony Gwynn would have more doubles than he had strikeouts, right? I mean, it was like, we're done with, unfortunately, I think, with that kind of player forever. And frankly, it saddens me. This was probably going to be my final thought, but I guess it's happening now.
Yeah, man.
I get some of the money ball and analytics and whatever, but I'll never embrace striking out. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You can explain it to me 47 different ways. I will never be okay with guys just striking out wantonly when they could change their two-strike approach and get the ball in play. That's could still be a thing. I just I will never. There were years where guys had more home runs than they had strikeouts, right? DiMaggio did it. Like, that's healthy guys would late in the season pretend they had the flu if they're getting too close to 100 strikeouts, right? It used to be, think of shame. It used to be a shameful thing to strike out over 100 times. Guys would, get a hamstring or a cold or sorry, Cap, I'm hungover, whatever it is, to try to avoid taking, 100 strikeouts, 100K. And now there's guys flirting with 100, as we're before we even get to the darn All-Star break. I will miss those guys because, like I said, I'm convinced whenever guys who weigh 167 pounds are swinging like from their ankles, right? I mean, guys are swinging as hard as they can. And I get the thought behind it, right? Because, hey, if I make contact, yeah. But I really do miss contact hitting. I miss art in the hitting, right? An artfulness. I mean, I go guys work on launch angle and exit velo and all this other stuff, and they're generating certain kinds of spin, and they're working with, wind tunnels and, aerodynamic engineers and bat designers. I get that. But, like, it used to be that guys would work on not striking out, right? I mean, that used to be a thing guys used to, if a guy early in his career struck out a lot, and I don't want to blame Dan Kingman, right? But I remember that was like a watershed moment. Because guys like Dave Kingman in the 40s and 50s would get sent back down to the minors. Like, you struck out too much. Work on that, right? And if they didn't fix it, they'd stick in the minors and be home run kings for 7 or 8 years in the minors. That's what used to happen if you struck out a lot. You're just a guy who's going to kill it in the minors. Enjoy being Bobo Belinsky or whatever, right? And I think Kingman sort of was the camel's nose under the tent, right? He was the guy that people first were able to sort of live with hitting 228 and 40 home runs and 120 something strikeouts, right? That was, I think people's minds began to sort of try to understand how he was still criticized for it. Don't get me wrong. Like, he still got raked over the coals for it, but he didn't get sent down to the minors. He's not to stay. See, I thought Reggie was going to go with the rant. Now it's me. What happened? I used to be a very serious baseball fan, and now I'm a dilettante, right? I barely follow the game. It feels weird. I keep up with certain guys, right? I don't. My father would be so disappointed. I don't know if I left baseball or baseball left me, right? I loved, and I'm glad to see the stolen bases kind of sort of coming back, but I loved, and partially, because the team I played for, my little league team was the Reds, and we tried to play like the Reds, right? We failed. I mean, we we're 9, 10, 11-year-olds, so we didn't successfully do it. But like almost every single person on the team looked up to a member of the actual Reds, ironically enough, or maybe coincidentally enough. And like I said, my guy was Joe Morgan. But we had guys who were George Foster guys on the team. We had guys who were Dan Dreesen guys on the team. We had guys who were Ken Griffey Sr. guys on the team. And, some of our pitchers looked up to Tom Seaver. And, of course, Johnny Bench was the catcher. If you were a catcher, all the catchers looked up. Everybody's team looked up to Johnny Bench. But all of this sort of meandering is to say, like, that team was purposefully built. And I understand that they've gotten rid of AstroTurf, right? That's part of what's taken some of the being a slap hitter. But you can still be a slap hitter, even on natural turf or field turf or whatever. You just have to do it slightly differently. But Davey Concepcion and guys like that would find a way to make it in this version of baseball as well, I promise you. But when I look at how that team was built, right? I'm not saying that teams are not purposely built nowadays, but they aren't doing it as well, maybe, or maybe the way that
See,
baseball is played
see,
doesn't.
see what you started. See what you started, Reggie.
Well, yes, I guess I should blame Reggie. Let's all blame Reggie. But I'm going to land the plane here. When everybody on the team swings like they can hit 40 home runs, when on a good year they hit 9 home runs, right? But everyone plays the game like they're a power hitter, right? And it's weird, first of all, to me, right? I mean, like, somebody should sit some of these dudes down and say, hey, I want you to watch Cookie Rojas. I want you to watch, guys used to understand what their limitations were, right? A man's got to know his limitations. And that's where I'll land the plane. Like, it just befuddles me the way the game is played.
Well, okay, Bill. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Major League Baseball is now exploring players participating in the LA Olympics out here in 2028. Bill, you got to land this plane a little quickly. I'm gonna get this.
Oh, this won't be. I won't bring up my little league teammates. I promise.
We're gonna start in high school. We'll start high school this time for you guys.
Go ahead, Bill.
I mean, now that professionals can play in the Olympics, I don't understand why. I mean, why is it not just right? Why are we still talking about it? Right? Why is it not just sort of an automatic thing? Once they said pros can play, right? I'm done. Like, do it. right? What are we doing? Let's finish it up. Wrap it up. And I'm going to wrap it up right there.
Come on, Reg.
Yeah, I'm going to follow that up with changing this sentence up. It should say MLB players are participating in 2028 Olympics. There we go.
My man.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do you guys think? I mean, maybe it's, me, with 2 pairs of black socks, but I remember when Olympics used to be for amateurs. I mean, I was, I really thought it was kind of disgraceful when they allowed professional boxers into the Olympics. And I think, once you become a pro, there are certain things, I mean, do you go back to your high school and get most valuable player now? I mean, what do you guys think? Are the Olympics actually becoming more pro oriented, Reggie?
I feel like that's the way they should be. I mean, if the Olympics are going to be the best, representing the best of any given country, people are going to want the best, really the best. They don't want like cosplaying the best. They really want the best. They want if you got LeBron James sitting here, but you're watching somebody else play, and we've seen this times where some NBA athletes have opted out, and we've given them crap for opting out of the Olympics from a, hey, you should be representing your country situation. But if we're watching the American team play, and it doesn't have players like Kevin Durant and LeBron on it, are we really sending the best team? Are we know we're not. We're not for a fact. So if another team is sending their Jokic, though, if Jokic is playing for his team and all the French players are playing for their team, it's going to be it would be kind of a mismatch there. So I feel like people just want the best, really the best representing their country. I think it's really simple as that. They just want the best in any given sport, whether it's swimming, whether it's gymnastics, where they just want the best human beings who are from their country doing that particular sport on the world stage, from a competition standpoint.
What's your thoughts there, Bill?
Here's my thing. Remember when guys would get banned for getting, a pair of free sprinting spikes from their sponsors? Do you want to go back to that, James? Is that what you want? I'm sorry, James. I love you, like my uncle, right? But I remember Avery Brundage bringing the hammer down on people for the stupidest things in the world. I can't. I'm sorry. You can't put the toothpaste back in the toothpaste. That's first of all. How would you go back I remember Jeremy Bloom, who ended up having to give up a scholarship to play football at the University of Colorado in order to try to make. I mean, it's just all of it's so dumb. It's so dumb. Plus, people have been sort of skirting it. I mean, Jim Thorpe having to give back his medals. I mean, we want to go back to that? I'm sorry, James. No, just flat out no.
Mr. Scott, how are you doing this evening?
Scott has entered the chat.
I'm doing very good. I was just listening to Bill. He's always so enlightening, going through the analytical things. So that was very good, enlightening, educational, and somehow there was some kind of boxing thing kind of came into my mind, and how James King III kind of reminds me of some of the fighters I grew up with. One in particular, Frank the Animal Fletcher. I mean, especially when he had his teeth in. So. It kind of reminds me, and then the great Dwight Braxton, I understand, just passed away.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Who had a wonderful fight with George Foreman. I'm telling you, they traded blow to blow. And he was undersized. He was a light heavyweight.
Yeah.
So, great to join you guys. Glad to see Worldwide Reg.
I think didn't he weigh in for that fight at like 192 pounds or something? It was crazy how he managed to hang with Foreman.
Yeah, I know. That was quiet, but he landed a lot of, geez.
Yeah, I always wonder how, because I think he fought originally at super middle and then eventually became a lightweight. I don't know how super middleweight stayed in the ring with that guy. Sheesh.
Mr. Scott, what we were referring to is the 2028 Olympics out here in LA. And whether or not we're going to have professional baseball players in the Olympics, like we do the other sports, professional basketball, track field, whatever, what's your thoughts on Major League Baseball players in the Olympics?
Well, I mean, don't the other countries have their best players? Into the game? So, what? I'm not sure. The only thing about, our players is, do they really want the wear and tear of the travel? And they've already got the bag. And so, if you're really patriotic, you want to do something for the country, I think it's fine. But, other countries, they have professional leagues, other countries. See, we all think that we think we'd all be all end all of everything. We call everything we have here world champion. The world champion baseball, world champion. Well, but these other places, especially in Japan in baseball, China in basketball.
Cuba in boxing and baseball.
Yeah. So if they want to do it, but see, the thing is, if they don't all do it and they get beat, see, that's the thing. They want to say that they're the world champions, but if they go over there and get beat, maybe they're going to just dock their salaries. I don't know. I don't know how that. I don't know if they even get paid to do that. I'm sure expenses are paid, but it's supposed to be at what they call an amateur level. But that line has been so much. That line has been so much. That
line has been erased. We won't, sugarcoat that at all. That line has been erased. But sticking with baseball there, Mr. Scott, what did you think about the Hall of Famers this year? CC, Billy Wagner, his last year, took him 10 years to get in there, but he finally got in there. And, of course, Ichiro, still looking for that one guy that, denied him that unanimous vote.
We're all looking for him. Not just him. We're all looking for him.
Mr. Scott, are you in that? Are you in that mob?
Well, what did Dave Parker get in this time?
Yes.
I know he passed away, which is he's the only guy. There was a guy on a baseball game I watched that did something that he did similar in the right field corner. Throw the ball to third place on the fly. Dave Parker did that. I can't remember who the guy from Atlanta did that the other night, but that's the only time I've really seen that. So, but it's tough when people go in and they're gone.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's, like they say, is for the family yeah, but if they earned it, they should be in. And I still, Jim Marshall, like I say, as being a friend of his and being in college at the time, they were in camp and hanging out with them and being in something called a hookah. I don't know. I didn't know what that was. I had no idea what it was. But, I mean, he was, should be in. I mean, the longevity itself as a starter, as an all-star. But so, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that situation.
Reggie, what's going on with your Braves? This we're not used to seeing this with the Braves. What's happening in Atlanta?
We're gonna call this year a mulligan here because we're not used to this here. At this particular point, I think Acuna's gone on a 10-day IL situation, injury list for him, and we have I think all of our opening day starting rotation, the entire opening day starting rotation is on 60-day injury list right now. It's an infirmary ward down here in Atlanta. So we're definitely not used to being 45, 61. It's not really our MO, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, injuries are killing us right now. And it's just, I hope the Falcons are better. These are like, I was telling you before, when it comes to the teams I don't usually worry about that I root for, it is usually teams like my soccer team, like Pittsburgh, like Bama. Those teams they're all stressing me out right now. And Atlanta and the Braves are one of those teams as well that I don't usually worry about, but definitely am this year. So it's kind of I've already thrown in the towel here personally. I got some friends that are holding on a little bit, but some have stopped watching altogether. So yeah, it's definitely not good down in A right now for the Braves.
Yeah, I got off their baseball when you trade a Freddie Freeman. I mean, consistency.
Did we trade him? I think he just left. I think he was going to leave. That was a whole situation down here.
Wasn't
that was
a
whole
trade?
beef down. There was a whole situation down here. A whole back and forth with the organization and him. That was a protracted situation. It may not have seemed as protracted outside of Atlanta, but definitely was protracted inside of Atlanta. So that wasn't a clear cut. If you talk to both parties on this, even still now, you talk to both parties on this, I still think they're kind of both like, it wasn't me. So it's I don't know. They definitely want to get rid of them down here.
Yeah, my understanding is they made a generous offer and Los Angeles made a ridiculous offer. That's
correct.
my remember.
Los Angeles came in being the Dodgers that they are, and just here we go.
Ohtani $700 million. Ohtani $700 million. So what?
Yeah. What do you do?
Mr. Scott, even though Demetrius isn't going to be here tonight, so I can let you get your rant off here, but what's going on with your Twins? 11 games behind the Tigers?
Well, I don't, I'm going to defer. I mean, these Twins thing, it's a wrap this year. I mean, they got tricked into getting Carlos Correa. He goes to San Francisco and wanted $300 million. They give him a physical and they say, no. This guy's damaged goods. So then he comes back to the Twins. I wanted to be here all the time. This is where I wanted to be. $250 million. He's not producing. The team's pitching is in total disarray, similar to the Brave situation. Boy, in the star player, they were really counting on Royce Lewis. He's been hurt the last couple of years. This year he's healthy, but he's not producing. So they're really talking about they got fires, they got torches out for the manager. And then plus the team is up for sale. And it has been up for sale the whole year. And so, the players, the whole thing, the fans are just kind of in a humdrum. It's just they don't draw that good. They're just really almost tanking it at this point. I know they traded one of their starters to, I don't know, was it to Detroit? I can't remember who it was. They traded one of their starting pitchers. So, Yeah, that's what's going on with the Twins. It's a lost season, and I think Baldelli will be out of here by the end of the year. It's my prediction.
Uh, Bill, we've heard of a tale of two cities, but what about the tale of two teams, the Cubs and the White Sox?
What about him? What, what do you want from me? So here's the good news. If you're looking for something to hang your hat on, the White Sox once vaunted farm system is once again one of the better farm systems in Major League Baseball. So if you're a White Sox fan, and I am, be patient. They are a few years away from being a contender, but the farm system which they have allowed to fester and rot is back. There's good players coming up. If you watch their AA games and their high single A and things like that, you're seeing 2 or 3 guys that are definitely going to be Major League starters. And they have some pitching. Now, some of that they're probably going to flip for other prospects. That's why you try to over-represent in pitching in the minor leagues, is so you can sort of sucker some team, hopefully, into giving you what you need in other positions. But they have guys who will have trade value, which was not true a couple of years ago. They were bad, and they had a bad farm system. You don't want both, right? Well, you don't want to be bad, but if you're going to be bad, at least have a good farm system, right? Like the Tampa Bay Rays without the devil. Now, even in the years when they were good, you look at that farm system, you go, "Oh, sweet, Mary, Joseph." I mean, they've got stuff that they're going to be good again soon, and then they'd be good again for a couple of years, and then they would not be able to pay their players, and they'd go to Los Angeles, wherever, or New York, wherever they'd go, and then they'd restock, right? They'd go down for a little bit, be right back. The Twins, I think, tried to follow the same model. I mean, once again,
Yeah.
I could be corrected if I'm wrong, and it didn't quite work out. And they made some moves with some of those prospects, and some of them, I think they wish they could pull back. But that's the hard thing about Chicago is not a small market, so they don't have the excuses that some other, like Tampa or some others have. They should be able to build a good team and keep it together. They haven't always done so. And of course, the Cubs have no excuses for being bad. They are, I mean, even though they're both in the same city, one is a medium market team and the other one's a big market team. And I can explain more culturally and financially if you want to, dig deeper into it. But the deeper pockets are clearly on the north side. And, they've got all these ancillary revenue flows that come into the Cubs. And of course, the Cubs ownership group is filthy stinking rich. I mean, they're all rich, but they're not quite with the McCourts, but they're not that far off either. I mean, they're in that upper echelon, maybe not top 5, but probably top 8, 9 in terms of deepest pockets amongst ownership groups. So the Cubs have nobody to blame but themselves. They don't have to build slowly. They can go out and compete at the highest levels of the free agent market. So when they're bad, they're just bad. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But the White Sox, when they're bad, one, because they do have to sort of, like I said, even though they're in the same large media market, they're not in the same large media market, if you know what I'm saying. Like, they are clearly the little brother or little sister or little whatever here in Chicago. And I know this, once again, because I am an actual White Sox fan. It's so much easier to get tickets and so much cheaper. Like, it's very clear which, like when tourists come into Chicago and the concierge, the hotel, sets them up with the Chicago package, it's never White Sox tickets that are part of the package. I'll tell you that. So yeah, it's clear who's who here in the city. But I do think the future is fairly bright for the White Sox if they might make the right decisions about what to do with the young talent flowing upward. And the Cubs just need to, frankly, just be better. I mean, they don't, like I said, they don't have a built-in excuse, right? When they're bad, they're just bad.
Well, hey, yeah, but like you said, the Cubs. Everybody recognizes the Cubs. I think as the big brother in town. So, but Mr. Scott, one of the things that I've always talked about when we were talking about the team that included Take My Talents was the fact that
Well,
how
he'll
old.
never live that down. By the way, he'll never live that down. As far as I'm concerned.
Well, that's the name you gave him, so that's the name we use here on the sports grid. But
And good
yeah,
work on that, Mr.
the point is, I really got down on them when I was talking about, the retirement home and how old the players were, and saying those things about the Lakers. But now it seems like the Clippers are signing Chris Paul, 40-year-old Chris Paul. You know, uh, right now their roster is going to be an average age of 33 years old. 33, Mr. Scott. A lot of
Which is very young to be a senator.
What's your thoughts here, Mr. Scott? The oldest team in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, I think Chris Paul has been past his use by date for years. I mean, he starts off in the beginning of the season. Things look okay, then he fades. I mean, this has been happening for the last several years. So I don't expect. I expect the Timberwolves to just roll over them in the West. Timberwolves are looking like I'm not. Again, I don't want to go full blown Demetrius. I'm not going to. I refuse to do that. But
I'll give you a moment to talk about
finals for the last
it.
2 years. They went to final the last 2 years, so they're. I'm not afraid of the Clippers at all. They'll break down. They'll be injured. They'll be hurt. They're not going to be a factor.
What do you think about that, Rich?
Well, looking up a couple things here, I see that the average age in the NBA is 26 for average age player. And when you look at the teams that just won, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the average age, they're one of the youngest teams in the NBA with average age around 24. What the hell are the Clippers thinking here? I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. Like sometimes you can look at things from outside and say, hey, I can see what's being put together here. Because it may be a trend, maybe you like the trend, maybe you don't like the trend, but this seems to not even be the trend. The winning trend is kind of the opposite of what the winning trend is, which is kind of getting younger. And maybe they're still just recovering from this whole SGA thing, man. I think with the Clippers, when they screwed up the whole SGA situation, which I feel like a lot of teams would have done, by the way, if you go back, it's not revisionist history. I think it was to get, they wanted to get, who was it to come? Was it? It was what Paul George. They wanted to get Paul George coming. I think that's back when Paul George was really great, and people were still buying it. Philly still bought it now, but I mean, other people were still buying it. Everybody liked Paul George at the time, and people didn't really know what SGA was, and they kind of sent SGA off. Now you see what SGA has become. I think it's a cautionary tale for how teams are being built now in the NBA. And this seems to be moving in a polar opposite direction. I don't know. I mean, average age of 33 is crazy. Maybe they pull a rabbit out of the hat here, but I don't know. It just seems questionable to me. I'm not going to knock on CP3 for not being CP3 or the use by date as Scott has stated, but I don't know how this helps. I mean, I really don't. I don't know. I'm not. Is anybody going to say the Clippers are better now because of these moves? I don't know. I don't know how this, especially in the West, bro. It's challenging. It's challenging. I don't understand stuff like this.
Bill, what was that you used to tell us about Father Time?
Undefeated, never lost. Never lost. I'll never forget one time when the recently retired and great Greg Popovich puts in his lineup card and puts down that Tim Duncan, DNP, coach's decision, old. So no matter how great you are and what you do anywhere in sports, experience can be a good thing, but age is never a good thing, right? Like the ideal thing is to be, in most sports, to be about 27, right? you've been in the league long enough that you aren't fooled by everything anymore, but your body still responds well to the challenges of playing. And the NBA, while it's not quite as long as baseball, obviously, which is ludicrously long season, is still 82 games with a tremendous amount of travel. Like that's when you talk to retired players, and I reconnected a few years ago with Marcus Liberty, who was supposed to be a young man I was working with when I worked at the University of Illinois. We never showed up to his appointments. But the point is that he's now doing fairly well for himself as an entrepreneur. And I asked him, because he was still physically able to keep playing when he moved away from the game. And he said, I was tired of not sleeping in my own bed, like for months at a time. It wears on people in a way that only people who've been in businesses where you just travel all the time can understand. But back to team construction. If you study the game historically, and while there's always fun outliers, these George Allen over the hill gang approach rarely works out in the NBA. I won't say never, but very rarely. And it's like taking your 401k, taking all the money out and buying lottery tickets, right? And maybe it works out, but it doesn't mean the process was the right process. I don't approve, frankly, of saying, once again, like I joked about, we're talking about the Lakers. Oh, we fixed it. We made the team older. Like, you're just opening the door for so many possible things to go wrong. The body just doesn't, repair itself as well with each passing year. And it's a repetitive use injury. Say it with me. It's a repetitive use injury sport, right? You rarely see, the traumatic injuries occasionally in basketball. Usually it's repetitive use injuries, all the running, all the jumping, all the landing, all the stopping and starting. And something just sort of wears and wears and wears and then, right? So yeah, good luck, I guess. I'll close with that. Good luck.
Good evening, Don.
Good evening.
How are you doing this evening? How's things down there in Texas?
Texas doing great. Today is my last day of summer. I have to go back to work tomorrow.
Oh no!
For some,
You had a great summer, a wild summer you had there, Don.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been hot Don summer.
Yeah. Yeah, you said that. Yeah. So tomorrow we start our professional development crap at school. So
Is that what they call it now?
professional development in service.
Yes, I remember the in-service days. Yeah.
Got to sit through the bloodborne pathogen training and
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds exciting.
Don,
stop the bleed. Stop the bleed.
I hope you have a big dining room table. Both you and the missus are teachers, right?
Yes.
So,
She's
I
she's
can- I
la
can-
la
I can
la,
see
la
that-
profesora de español.
There we go.
So I can see those planning sessions. Those getting those teachers charged together and everything. That's what I was saying. I hope you have a big dining room table.
Oh yeah.
Don, we talked a little baseball just before you came in. What did you think about CC, Billy Wagner, and of course Suzuki being in?
In the fame, right? Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Yeah, I again, like so many years we do this. You can make the case for each one of them. They're legit. So I don't think there should be any controversy about that.
No. The only controversy we have here, of course, is the fact that Ichiro wasn't unanimous, and everybody's looking for that one.
There we go.
guy.
We're gonna crank it up again, man. We're gonna get right back to it again, and I'm gonna have to rant. Do I need to talk about all the games? He had a 311 average, guys. Do I need to really start this again? Do I really need to start going down the line? I'll save our final thoughts, and I'm not gonna hijack the show. I will save your final thoughts.
So, Don, there's so far it's a possibility. It hasn't, of course, been finalized. But what do you think about professional baseball players being in this upcoming Olympics, the 2028 Olympics out here in LA. What do you think
Well,
about including professional baseball players?
they already use professional hockey. They already use professional tennis. Uh, so why not? I mean, the only thing I can figure out is, or question is that, the Olympics is during baseball season, so they're going to have to, do the Astros want to, sacrifice 2 or 3 players for Olympic gold, and they're neck and neck with someone in the pennant race. So I mean, that's the only thing I kind of question. I think that maybe they could fill in with some maybe AAA guys or AA guys to fill in. Maybe some college guys like they used to do back in the old days when it was an amateur thing.
Mhm. Mhm.
And they're talking about having like flag football in the Olympics.
Yep.
And some of these NFL guys like, hey, I'm like, oh shit. I mean,
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what that flag football team.
yeah.
Like,
United,
I haven't really
United
embraced
States
it.
versus Algeria.
No.
It, yeah. I mean, to me, it's kind of like another gimmick, like like we're doing with the Pro Bowl and that, But hey, I'm not
USA
that
versus Vietnam.
yeah.
There you
Payback.
go. There you go.
Goodness,
Grudge
man.
match.
Right
Loser
out the gate.
leaves. Loser
Right out
leaves
the
the
gate.
planet Earth match.
uh, okay, uh, Donna, I know this next subject is going to be very close to your heart, so I'm going to let you lead this next topic off. Uh, Women's gene testing. The World Athletics has
Is that
said
close to his heart?
as
Women
of
gene testing? Is
March,
that a
it
passion
could
project there?
it could require, well, it would require uh, chromosome testing by either cheek swab or dried blood uh, test for the women that are eligible for elite world level events. Um, so actually, let's see, our next event is September 1st. So, Don, what do you think about this?
Well, it seems like we went through this in the '70s, right, with the East German weightlifting team or something like that. They had some track athletes that were questionable. Ever since that boxer was from Algeria or Tunisia, the guy that was the girl, whatever. You need to. I think we need to do. We have to have the test because someone's going to get hurt. Um, you know that the girl that got beat by the Algerian person said that she never been hit like that before. I said that was like being hit by men. Well, guess what? It was a man. So yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, in this day and age, when guys who can't succeed in their sport and their gender, and they go and have a little switcheroo and try to compete as a woman, we need to have it. I'm all for it.
Bill?
Well, I mean, it's a little more nuanced than that, but I believe you're talking about Khadija Marty. I assume is who you're talking about. There's lots of science involved in this stuff, and we're kind of selling some of it short. As some of you might remember, there also was a 800 meter, 400 800 meter sprinter, and through no fault of her own, she just has a very naturally very high testosterone level, has since birth. Right? It's going to get interesting to see how all this breaks down, how all this works. What I would hope we could finally get to is some things that don't unduly punish people for literally just how they were made. Right now, as Don has pointed out, there are some people who have actually undergone surgical procedures, etc., to make changes. And I am fine with there being either a separate category or some way of classifying them somewhat differently. But there are some people who simply, you know, their chromosomes or their whatever are just slightly different through nothing they've done, just how they're born, right? I've always been a little squeamish about unduly punishing certain people just because they are X amount above whatever threshold that has been established. And it's like I said, no fault of their own. They're not doping, they're not doing anything. This is how they, you know, if you believe in God, how God made them. So I don't know. I just feel like we're oversimplifying some of these things.
Mr. Scott, do you agree or disagree with that?
Well, I've lately been watching a lot of the WNBA, and years ago,
I don't know why that's funny. I don't know why
years
that's
ago,
not funny, but
years,
it's funny that he said it. I don't know.
year,
I don't know why.
years ago, I was in Phoenix with some of my real good buddies from college. And it was in the middle of summer, man, into July. And I'm telling you, it was 110 degrees every day. But we went to a game, and I think Reggie Miller's sister was the coach. And I was amazed. The place was packed. I mean, this is like 10, 15 years ago. And so I'm walking around looking, and I seen this couple girls, man, that were so fine. Another girl I think it was a girl, kind of walked up to me and kind of pushed me out of the way,
Goodness.
for looking. So, I mean, I think that there's these differences, and I think we just haven't figured it out. I mean, some of these women, when I go to a game, they look questionable. But then there are actually women that I know that play in the league that grew up with families and stuff that I know that, they're heterosexual for what it means. And so it's kind of an interesting thing. There's certain things that we just haven't figured out here. There's certain things that are above the pay grade, certainly of, the average person. So I enjoy watching their game is getting better. It's getting more more competitive. But then you look at Brittany Griner, and I'm like, I'm Fred Sanford on what does Fred Sanford do? I mean, so yeah, it's inconclusive to me. Inconclusive having watched the games and watch it and watching Caitlin Clark, who I thought is an extraordinary talent. I mean, she can do a lot of things on that level of basketball that a lot of the others can't do.
Well, hey, I'm going to throw this in there right now because I'm on Facebook here and there, but, you can post a topless – you cannot post a topless photo of Caitlin Clark or Angela Reese or whoever. You can't do it. Device things, but you can post a topless video or picture of Brittany Griner, which I think is crazy. I've actually seen Brittany Griner topless.
Wow.
No, no. There's no wow factor. There's no wow factor.
Brittany Griner had her
These
boobs
things
removed.
right here are bigger.
So that's probably why with the Brittany Griner situation.
Right,
And me personally, I'm pro test. Just do the test because I feel like with all these situations, even Lisa testing helps clear this up for the other ladies like that. So they're not dealing with all this stuff and all this speculation. Just get out the way, just do the testing, and just add it to the other battery of tests that these athletes already take. And then when you have these situations where people, at least once that's cleared up, you won't have like the Brittany Griner situation. She won't be subjected to this. She won't be subjected to this. So I'm protesters get out the way. For me,
well, that's right. She's on your team now, isn't she? I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, she absolutely is, man.
She's on your team.
All right, guys. Let's talk a little college football here. I'm gonna make sure that I have no comments about this first subject here. So I am going to start with you, Bill, here, though, because 47 has issued an executive order for college sports.
Mm-hmm.
The White House claims that this executive order is saving college sports. Uh, Bill, your thoughts?
Imagine, if you will, that the heat miser from the old, those who are old enough to remember, the heat miser. I'm Mr. Heat Miser. I'm Mr. Sun. I'm Mr. Heat Miser. I'm Mr. 101. Imagine that you've put your snowman collection in charge, like in the tender hands of the heat miser, right? He's in charge of watching your snowman collection. Imagine, if you will, that you have allowed, brilliant scientist Stephen Hawking to take over all the duties of like driving you around, right? There are certain things that just aren't well suited to success. For those who maybe are too young to remember or have forgotten, the last time that Donald Trump and sports had a close relationship, he ended up full on killing a football league, right? I don't know why people have such short memories sometimes. I mean, he literally took while it wasn't wildly successful, it was moving towards breaking even. In some markets, one or two of the franchises even were breaking even. The ones that weren't breaking even were at least trending in the right direction while they were playing in the spring. And he had the brilliant idea, and he basically ramrodded it through for the USFL to play in the fall. And that's him. That guy saving college football. What could go wrong?
What is the executive order? Like, what is the order? What does it say? Is it like one or two things? Is it like, is it like a sweeping? Is it a sweeping set of rules and stuff like that? Like, I would need to know what the order is.
Yes, and it's poorly thought out.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up here.
Yeah, it is kind of wordy without, I think, really accomplishing anything. That it leaves things in the same, I think, perspective. But as I said, I want everybody to make up their own.
Well, he wanted to be in the NFL. When he had the New Jersey Generals, see, that was the plan. In New York, New Jersey, and the funny thing, I happened to be in Orlando where they trained. They trained on this little high school place. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm talking was Herschel Walker, Brian Sipe. I mean, they had some big time players there, and they're on this little park. I mean, it's like a regular park. They have to sit on their helmets. Yeah. And it was really something to see. But yeah, the league looked like it, and some of them did come into the league, didn't they? Wasn't that?
Well, no,
not quite like
Several of the players came into the league, but not a single one of the teams. It wasn't like with the old AAFC where a couple of teams came over, or where a bunch of teams came over from the AFL. 0% of the teams came over from the US.
And he was going to buy as I recall, buy the Buffalo team, and the NFL owner said,
"Nope,
I kind of passed on it for whatever reason."
Well, yeah, that is correct.
So now, I once, I'm not sure which show it was and how many guys were here, but I mentioned, is it going to come down to a collective bargaining? Does it mean unionizing for these players, such as some type of Dartmouth plan? Don, what's your thoughts on this whole thing? Government in college sports. Like I said, are we heading toward unionizing? What's your thoughts here?
Well, my stand has always been this: as little government interference as possible in college sports. That's just my. I mean, the NCAA was kind of formed to alleviate the fatalities that were happening in 1905 by Theodore Roosevelt, and I think once they established the NCAA, the government just kind of stepped away from it and said, y'all regulate yourselves. But I would like to see, I guess some regulation as far as, I guess safety, concussions, knee injuries, that type of stuff. But as far as the money goes, the government needs to have it. Just let Texas be Texas.
It's hilarious.
Now,
Well,
now, as far as unionizing, I don't know about that. That opens a whole different can of worms and bureaucracy that I don't think we're going to deal with. But it'll probably happen in the next 10 years because you're going to see these guys getting. I'm looking probably. We're a few years away from having like a $15 million contract for some quarterback or some running back. So in college, so and it's getting real bad. Not freshmen, but high school seniors. They're already chomping at the bit to get the NIL. And you got, I don't know how it is in all states, but in Texas, we got kids transferring from our powerhouse programs to places in California and Florida and Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Ultimate equalizer, the money, guys. Told you.
Yeah,
Change.
and
Ultimate equalizer.
What's going to happen is they could even go back to, they used to play a football game between the college all-stars, the all-Americans, and the pro team.
Mhm.
And the pro
And they
team
won a
that
couple
won the
times.
championship would play these college people.
Yep.
I mean, everything is on the board. And to
And they
me,
played it until the
47
70s. They played it the last one in the early 70s. Yeah.
Yeah, but to me,
I remember those games.
anything 47's involved is to put money in his pocket. I mean, I can't see that he's doing anything for anybody but and trying to deflect from. I'm not going to get into that right now. I'll defer to others on that. I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, we won't make this a political show. Go ahead, Reggie. What were you saying?
As I read my AI summarized executive order here, I do want to key in on one aspect of this that I think that just get out of here with this, and that's the prohibition of pay for play. Do not mention the money. I think as Don was saying here, I mean, let's guys, can we not go over this again? They're going to pay these guys. Stop playing. Like stop acting as if there's any set of words you can put together that's going to result in these teams not paying these players. They were paying them before. They're somewhat legally paying them now. Let's just keep this in place because if you decide to make them go back underground, they're just going to keep paying them. Nothing's going to change. Nothing really changed when NIL happened except they kind of came out of the house. Like everybody came outside and like, okay, now it's legal now. We can actually run out here and express what we've been doing this whole time. And all you would do is just make them do it again. I'm not sure if any kind of executive order, any kind of change or any kind of wording you can come up with for the money here. That's really one of the things that kind of jumps out to me here. I mean, some of this stuff sounds good, but I mean, in practice, it's a little silly.
The only thing I would want to see done is similar to what happens with the NFLPA and the NFL, where if you want to be an advisor / agent, that you show that you actually, by passing some sort of assessment or test, show you actually understand how to negotiate.
That you are an agent. Yeah, that's what you should have to get. The first step there.
Right, exactly. Right, one. And then two, there'll be some sort of, simple set of rules about what you can and can't do. Hey,
what are you guys talking about? I got my agent's license. I'm gonna. All I need is that one kid.
Yeah, one contract, and that's all you need.
I need that one kid. That gets that $16 or $20 million that Don's talking about, and I'm good.
That's the only thing I care about. Somebody stepping in and making it so that the people who are trying to step forward and advise these young men actually know what they're doing and can demonstrate some sort of knowledge of the industry. And then maybe some sort of cap on the amount that they can charge, whatever, set some percentage that, they can't go above. And to me, that's it. Once that's established, everybody else back off and let it just happen. Whatever's going to happen, let it happen.
Well, then it looks like it's kind of like a preacher. You know, they used to have preacher things. You could become a preacher. You could go to some school nobody ever heard of, and they say they were there. And so, you know, you used to get degrees on a matchbook. People don't remember this. You could sign up for something on a matchbook to get some kind of. All you had to do was send in the $5. They send you.
Mr. Scott,
now, Mr. Scott,
I don't want you to make light of that, Mr. Scott. When I was incarcerated, I got my minister's license, and for $5, I had my own church. I don't know what. How dare you?
So be it, Reverend. So be it, Reverend.
The point I'm making, Mr. Scott, is they don't have to do even that at this point, right? I'm not joking.
It can be like a family member. You really don't. It could be like your uncle. Yeah. It really can. It could be anybody.
It could be your younger brother. It could be your younger, it could be anybody. There's no standard now.
Don, you've been awful quiet here. Come on. Close this subject off for us.
Well, I'm a minister as well. So,
goodness gracious.
I have my little card.
Show here. Change the name of the show.
But I was incarcerated and I got it.
The evangelical crib. How's that?
I just went on the internet and it said, "Do you want to become a minister?" I said, "Sure." So I filled out the form, and 3 weeks later, I got my card, and so I had to go to prison for that. But if anyone gets married, I'll perform a ceremony. I've performed 2 or 3 myself. So
all right, very nice. All right, very nice. All right.
So, Bill, we're going to kind of table that. I think we all have our opinions on, keeping the government out of football. There was a time, they told LeBron to, shut up and dribble. They told, we can talk about Colin Kaepernick, but the main thing is, like you said, these guys are going to get paid, and you have to worry more about the predators, because they're certainly prey when they make this type of money.
Correct. Yeah, and that's basically what I want to do, is just simply, I would establish some sort of trust, right? The only things that I would have, like I said, make sure that the people who are supposed to be representing them know at least the basics of the industry, and some sort of trust, right? So if there's X number of million, this percentage is set aside in a trust, a durable trust, so that if, God forbid, something happens to you at 18, 19, 20, and you're not able to work, you're not able to do these things for the rest of your life, there's money put away. Like they used to make young actors do, right? They used to have that for young actors after the whole thing that happened with, was it Ronnie Allen Rippey? No, it was Jackie Coogan. It was Jackie Coogan law. Jackie Coogan.
Yeah.
After what happened to Jackie Coogan, they made a rule in SAG-AFTRA that minors, once they earned a certain amount of money, a certain percentage of that money held in a durable trust that their parents or anyone else couldn't get at, and to be held for them until they reached their age of majority. So something somewhat similar. And like I said, the thing about making sure the agents at least, have some understanding of what they're doing when they sit down to negotiate these contracts. That's the two things. Everything else, I'm fine with being left essentially laissez-faire. I mean, it's funny how everybody's like against socialism until they want socialism, but I'm fine with the rest of it being left, sort of as is, as it currently is.
Bill, what did you think about talking about the portal and transfers? The biggest changes, or one of the results that I saw of the transfer was the transferring of both Noah Thomas and Zachariah Branch to the University of Georgia. Bill, what does that do for their offense and their wide receiver room?
Well, I mean, they got faster. I think that's not exactly news to anybody who's paid attention. They only got faster. I think that quarterback play will really tell you if it really matters. Now, Branch also can help you in the return game. He was, early in his USC career, that was really what he's known for, was, as a return specialist. He was a little underdeveloped as an actual receiver. And of course, USC had some guys ahead of him. So he made most of his impact initially as a return guy. And they would get him the ball in somewhat creative ways because he wasn't super nuanced as a route runner, wasn't very deceptive and things like that. Now he's older, maybe he's developed more. We'll see if he can be more of a full service wide receiver, but he is a special athlete, and getting the ball in his hands in space leads to exciting things. Thomas is a little more of a use term I just use, full service wide receiver, more like what you think of when you think of what you think a guy who plays that position should know how to do and understands how to do.
Don, the Arch Madness is starting here.
Arch Madness.
What's going on?
Well, Arch Madness has been going around for a while now.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Ever since Quinn Ewers got hurt, and that.
Yeah, I was gonna say ever since he started playing when he played.
So today Texas had their first workout for the fall season, and they have some young receivers, but Arch's been throwing to them all since the end of the game, end of the that quarterfinal game. So the Texas is gonna be okay. They got some 5-star recruits that are coming in. They got some transfer portal guys. Texas is going to be very salty on defense. They had Michael Taft, who was in an honorable mention All-American free safety last year.
Yep.
He's getting moved to nickelback. So, they have a safety they think they like better than the guy that was going to be an All-American. So that shows you. And they got like 5 guys in the secondary that'll be playing on Sunday. So Texas will be very talented. I just hope that they can, keep the intensity going, because their first game is at Columbus, Ohio State.
Ooh.
That'll be like a number 2 versus 3 or number 1 versus 2, whatever. I don't know what the ranking is going to be.
It's brutal, man.
That's first week in college football, Texas at Ohio State. And last time Texas went to Ohio State in the horseshoe, Vince Young pulled off the upset. So we'll see if Arch can duplicate what Vince Young did. We'll see.
Man, it'll go crazy, man. You imagine that? How they're stacked, man. Goodness. The fans will be going crazy down there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Well, let's see. You want to talk about Bama, Reg?
No, not really.
Okay.
Bama's is wait and see, man. It's wait and see mode. That's all I can. I'd be saying the same thing every week. We're all let's wait and see.
Bill, you got to make this one quick for me, though.
Okay.
Give me some HBCU guys we should be watching.
Well, great question. Now, the transfer portal giveth, and the transfer portal taketh away, right, as we've already talked about. So some of the guys that were terrific last year, many of them have found other homes in other places. But also there's some guys who were playing either other places at the Division II or FCS level, or some what they call down transfers, though I don't know how far down it really is. But what I'm anticipating, and I guess I'll start with my hometown, former hometown, Norfolk State Spartans. They have done very well in the portal, partially due to having, of course, Michael Vick as a coach has helped raise the level, the stature of the program, how people think of the program, how people talk about the program. They have a couple of guys who came in through the portal. NCA&T always has at least 1 or 2 guys that have that look. And then Southern has a kid named Shelby Evans, who was, if he'd come out last year, I had a draftable grade on him. I think, unless he gets injured or something, I think he's going to be drafted. Now, it'll be late, probably day 3-ish. kind of draft, but size is a question mark. I mean, I know he's listed at, but he looks like he's about 13, 14 pounds, maybe less than that, but maybe he's built himself up I haven't seen him since last year, so maybe he's closer to that actual like his actual program weight. That would help him if he can come in the 240s to maybe even low 250s as a pass rusher, as opposed to being what I would guess is probably mid to upper 230s based on just eyeballing him in the past. There are some wide receivers that I think have a chance also. It'll all come down to, first of all, getting the ball thrown to them. Like, there's a lot of guys who have all the things you look for in NFL wide receivers, but unfortunately play in offenses where they just don't get the chance, right? They aren't getting featured, or the ball isn't coming their way. So I'll be interested to see if now I know Norfolk State's going to throw the football, right? I mean, there's a couple of programs I promise you are going to throw the football and throw it often and well. Grambling has one or two guys. I think they have at least one offensive lineman who has a outside shot at being drafted. Worst case scenario, if not drafted, then at least a priority undrafted free agent. Let's see. Who else?
I said make it brief, Bill.
Oh, okay. Well, then we can stop right there.
All right, guys. Let's talk a little NFL here. And Reggie, I'm going to start with you here. Tua. Tua says that he's not too cool to play in the preseason. And, I understand that. But, Reg, for the organization, is it best for him not to play the preseason?
He's not playing in the preseason. This is not even a question. Like, he would not be playing in the preseason. That's why it would be cool for him to say stuff like this. I would tell you, go out there and say this, because you're not playing. So that's just the stance I would take if I was a team. There's no way in hell I would have him out there.
What about you, Mr. Scott?
Yeah, I guess not. I mean, they only play, how many, is it 2 or 3 games they play now, exhibition?
It's 3 now, yeah.
Is it 3?
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, just over the years, I remember when Adrian Peterson never played in the preseason. I mean, and Kirk Cousins never played in the preseason. I mean, so it seems like it's mainly just used to see who can make the team in certain spots.
Make the team. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we may need people, but they're going to protect their assets. From what I'm seeing in the thing, and is there a game this weekend?
Like tomorrow, I want to say, right?
Yeah.
In the Hall of Fame game tomorrow?
The Hall of Fame game, the Chargers and the Lions.
It sucks, guys, but I will be taking that. I'm sorry. I will be. I need the football. I mean, I feel bad for saying that I would watch even a second of that, but I will be watching at least a few minutes of that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I will too. So,
Bill?
Okay. Tracking to what you asked me. Before I forget, the highest rated HBU player actually that I have on my board right now is a guy named Eric Hunter from Morgan State. Just had to mention real quick. And then watch out for Vincent Byrd from Norfolk State. Behold the green and gold. To the question you actually asked. Preseason football is one of those things that only matters when it matters. And I'll explain why. When a player that people didn't know what to expect from suddenly establishes, whether it be positive or negative, what they actually are, right? You start to see flashes of what that player actually is. That's when it matters, or when you get hurt. Those are 2 times when it matters. When a player that you knew you needed gets hurt, or a player you weren't sure about starts to show what they really are.
I want to see Shador. That's who I want to see. I want to see Shador.
But I promise
you will. Stuff like that.
I promise
yeah, for
that
sure.
You will. I absolutely promise that you will. You will definitely see Shador Sanders play football. And the Browns have one of the most fascinating, of course, we talked about before, but quarterback situations, because you got, and
don't get sidetracked here now, Bill.
I'm not getting sidetracked. I'm just saying that's why we watch. That's why we watch, man. Joseph Vincent Flacco, man, got off the couch, right, and now he's still out there doing it.
Yeah, that's funny.
Don, what do you think? I mean, here's a guy that's literally Humpty Dumpty. He can fall off that wall at any time. I believe he's had more concussions than any quarterback I know of. But what's your thoughts?
Yeah. So, you know, as a man who sacrificed my body probably a little bit too much than I should have for 12 years on playing football. Um, hey, you're still young. Get out. You got your money. You have generational wealth. Get out. Go play golf
Goodness gracious.
or
Retire
get
altogether.
yeah.
That's what you're saying. Get out of the league. Not
Well,
just get
yeah.
out of preseason. You're like, get out of the league
No, well,
altogether.
I'm just saying because
Don's
it's-
saying,
it's-
I need another guy for pickleball. That's what Don's saying.
hey, don't knock pickleball. It's fun, but hey, it's not like this is like just one concussion, like or two concussions like Aikman had. I mean, this guy is. I mean, you blow on him and he's out for weeks. So, hey, just don't play any games. Early retirement. Go make babies. I mean, do something, but don't sacrifice your health because you're next thing you know, you're going to be going to some building somewhere in New York and shooting up the place. Just
Goodness gracious.
get yourself out. Get yourself out. Don't risk it. It's not worth it. Surely not.
Don has been in some building in New York.
Well, it could be Los Angeles. I don't know, Dallas. I don't know.
Oh, well, thank you for opening up to other cities at least. I think that's what the problem was there,
I
Don.
mean, that's what the guy just did, though. I mean, the guy went into New York and shot up the NFL. I mean, that's a clear. That's exactly what happened.
Okay, guys. The Saints have come to terms with Mr. Slow. How do I pronounce that, Bill?
Tyler Shaw.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, are you missing some letters there? Is that how it's spelled?
It's spelled SHOUGH.
Oh, the H. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Shah.
Okay. And as anybody who's grew up speaking a language other than English knows, OUGH is truly your enemy.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, he's a Texas. He played one season for sure at Texas Tech and some others.
Correct.
So
Yep.
he's been around.
He's been right. A lot of places. Played a lot of football, a lot of different places.
So he was the 40th player that was selected, and he's getting a fully guaranteed contract with the Saints. We also had the Bengals that have finally come to terms with Shamar, and he's getting a fully guaranteed 18.97. I don't know why he couldn't get those other three. Was that 3,000? But anyway, almost 19 mil, and he has a almost $10.5 million signing bonus. We kind of talked about this on another show also. Are we coming to a point where second rounders are also going to start getting contracts, considering what these two men, actually three, have accomplished as second rounders? Bill, what's your thoughts on this?
Getting back to what I say about toothpaste and tubes, it is very difficult to get the toothpaste back in the tube. Once you get the camel's nose on the tent, before you know it, you are sleeping next to a camel. So
It's hilarious.
I do believe that at some point it will become the norm, right? You know the old saying, like it's shocking, and then it's a fight, and then it's the norm, right? So we're still in the it's a fight stage, which will go on for another few years. But at some point, yes, I think it will eventually become the norm.
What do you think there, Mr. Scott? Second rounders, fully guaranteed contracts?
Boy, I guess it depends on who it is. I mean, if they think they can, make a real difference, the guys get paid. I mean, that's why they play the game. I mean, so, now that they have such few draft choices, I mean, when I started watching football, it seemed like they had 17, 18 drafted,
16,
It was
and
what,
a
16
bunch,
rounds, I think.
17 when you
and
first
then a bunch of free agents who they could just scrounge up that wanted to come. A lot of local guys from local colleges, and it was kind of an interesting camp. Being in Mankato at that time, I saw all of these things. I really followed the camps and all that. Second round with the few rounds depends if it's somebody that they think can be a starter right away, somebody that maybe fell for a reason. Randy Moss fell down to the end of the first round. He had supposedly bombed out of Notre Dame, ended up at Marshall. And, Denny being the great offensive guru that he was, one of the greatest offensive coaches, I think, coming from Bill Walsh and that group. It's possible. Money talks now, and these people seem like they have endless pocketbooks. They seem like money is really not an option. They tell you that, but I don't believe it.
Reg, your thoughts? Number
When
40.
you're looking at
Number 40 getting
look,
a fully guaranteed contract.
did it say what that amount was on that? Do you have an amount on that or no?
It was on the contract. I didn't really get a chance to put the numbers in. It wasn't as high. It wasn't as high as Shamir's, But my point being that he was the 40th pick and still getting a fully guaranteed contract.
I think the teams are looking at this as like these contracts aren't really cost prohibitive. Like you can take these shots at these dollar amounts. I can guarantee McDonald's. I can't guarantee Ruth Chris all the time. I can guarantee McDonald's. You know what I mean? And if I feel like this is going to be a decent meal here, then I'm going to guarantee. It's easier to do. It's just if you feel like I don't feel like you have to fall in love with a player at these dollar amounts. Versus in that first round, I mean, you're paying guys. Some of those guys are really getting paid. So I don't see anything wrong with this. If you have even semi conviction that the guy can help your team, I don't see any issue with it.
Don, what do you think?
Well, I think when one franchise does it, another team does it, I think it's going to have a ripple effect. I think you'll see this happen again, and maybe 2 more times, maybe 3 more times. But I think it's a huge step. It's a huge risk. But some teams are willing to dish out that money. So more power to them.
Yeah, we shall see. I don't see. I'm kind of agreeing with Bill here. Once you let the toothpaste out of the tube, it's kind of hard to put it back. So
And those contracts seem so phony. Somebody can get hurt. They can take a settlement. They can buy them out.
Well, see, this
I don't know.
This was what Shamar was holding out for, mainly because he wanted a contract that, whether he got hurt or not, he would be able to get his money. And that's as a second round, as I said, second round pick. He got almost $19 million and $10.5 million guaranteed. So whether he gets hurt, whether he plays one down or he has an outstanding career, he's going to get paid this rookie contract. So I don't see how now anytime you draft a guy in the second round, the first thing is going to be can I get my guaranteed money? And especially, what happens if either one or both or all three of these guys are busts?
And the trend will go the opposite direction, my friend. People will recognize that, and then that money will be pulled back. Canary in the coal mine, one way or the other.
Reg, let's talk a little bit about your team here, Mr. Pitts, Mr. Mooney. Pitts, I think maybe all right for the season. What's happening with Mooney? We've had different reports here. And what's going to happen? You got a lefty in here where most of the time we talk about, the right tackle. You have a left-handed quarterback, and your right tackle is Caleb McGarry.
Mhm.
How's how are you looking on that offensive line?
I'm get out of here after this, guys. What's going on down here is really a couple things. It's a few things, and one of the things I see here is being touched on, and that is Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is always the last couple of years here. It's kind of like how Josh Smith was for the Hawks. It's like or not Josh Smith, John Collins. John Collins was for the Hawks. John Collins was being traded by the Hawks every year with the fan base for the last 2 to 3 years, and then they wanted to pull him back. You have a good game, they'll pull him back in. And I feel like it's the same thing here with Kyle Pitts. It's kind of a prove it year. A lot of us were it's a lot of hoping for Kyle Pitts, hoping that he will take that next step and I think he at the dollar amount he makes now, I think it's fair for what he does. But will he take that next step? Is kind of wondering here. And another thing is people are really keying in on that Drake London, Michael Penix. That's kind of like what people are talking about down here. They're thinking that this might be the year. That could be a nice 1-2 punch. You don't hear much talk about the offensive line as per usual with offensive lines. But that has kind of been the discussion. The city kind of putting a lot of hope in Penix. Putting a lot of me and Mr. Scott are in the exact same situation. As much as I would love to roast the Vikings for having to depend on this kid, we are in the exact same situation for having to depend on Penix and hoping that we get that new Penix Drake London situation hook up there, and then maybe I can draft the guy in fantasy too. Who knows?
Well, you still have Cousins. You still have Cousins, don't you?
We got him on the bench, man. Listen, I told you we're not. I'm fine to keep him right there until I get the right offer. Until we get the right phone call, I'm keeping him right there on that bench, man. I don't want to give him away.
There's talks about a reunion here. They keep. I don't know if
really?
some of the
Are you
sports
serious?
writers,
Like a real talks about a reunion? Like
I don't know if some of these sports writers just want that to happen, or they're.
Kirk will go back in a second. Kirk will come back to Minnesota so fast.
There's still trepidation about J.J. McCarthy. I have to say it. It's just, sat out a year.
Mr. Scott,
Right
don't give it away yet, because I got something for you, Mr. Scott. So don't give it away yet.
And Vegas kind of loves McCarthy, by the way. But I'm saying Vegas likes him a little bit more than some of these other kids out here. So I wouldn't be too down on McCarthy because Vegas seems to like him going into the year.
Vegas been known to burn people. Vegas been known to burn people. So.
What's the situation with Mooney?
I haven't heard anything about him. I haven't heard any situation about Mooney. So I can't really speak on anything. It's not really what people have been talking about.
I was talking about his injury. Some people said, he might be out for a while.
When I haven't heard about it, so I would have to look up into it and see. Because I don't know, when did the injury happen? Was it like a practice injury?
Yes. I believe it was either yesterday or the day before.
Okay, I'll have to check in and see. I haven't heard anything that people are saying that they feel is going to cost us into the season, so it must not have been that crazy because nobody's hit me on it.
Well, I think
I'm hoping it's not bad because Mooney, it kind of last year turned into a player last year, so I'm kind of hoping that continues. Because I think he had some glimpses when he was in Chicago. I kind of liked him when we got him here.
I think there's some rumors of him maybe at the worst, if the injury at its worst is he could miss as long as 6 weeks. But
okay, about the first month and a half. That's not terrible. It's not ideal, but that's not. It's not.
Well, give us your final thoughts there, Reg.
Well, I think as I've alluded to this whole show, you guys know what the final thoughts are going to be. I'm going to go ahead and read them off right now. 19 seasons with the Mariners, Marlins, and the Yankees. 26-53 on the games. 3,089 hits, a batting average of 311. Home runs 117, RBI 780. Runs scored 1420, and stolen bases 509 for each row. And this will be for the next month here, my final thoughts are going to be each Suzuki facts. So just get ready for that. I know that you guys are excited for that, but for I thought this was done, but you brought this back up. You put this on this show, and it wasn't exactly scabbed over yet, man. So now here I am again. All August will be dedicated to Ichiro Suzuki, one of the greatest players that has ever played, and that's just his MLB stats. We didn't even get into the Nippon stats. We didn't even go over his with the other stats. The MPB stats we didn't even go over, by the way, just to show you how great that is. That's only MLB stats, guys.
All right, Reg. Well, hey, man, thanks for stopping in. We appreciate it. Look forward to having you on as many times as possible. Next year, you will be our soccer expert.
For the 5 people who want to hear about that, I will definitely be here for you guys. Bill said he will talk some soccer, so I'll talk soccer with Bill. Like I got one other guy, I'll talk soccer with Bill here.
Oh,
See you later,
man.
guys.
Have a good one, Reg. Don, can Jerry win this truth or dare battle with Parsons? And Don, what's the deal here? I mean, is there some kind of insider thing here with Jerry and Parsons? Is there a reason why he's kind of picking at this scab here instead of going on and signing the check?
Well, let me just say this: for where we are right now in fall camp and everything, there is hardly anything coming out of Dallas. The Dallas Nation, the fans aren't talking. I mean, it's like man, I don't know if it's just apathy or, well, with me it's apathy. I can't speak for my other Dallas people, but I don't know. I mean, I'm saying Parsons is your guy. I mean, he is the face of, or one of 2 faces of the franchise, other than being Dak Prescott. But to me, I'd rather have, Parsons than Prescott. But I don't know what's going on. My gut feeling tells me that he's going to be, playing signed, but until it happens, anything is possible. So I don't know. If it's me, I'm writing the check and saying, hey, come on board, let's get together and let's try to win some games. But Jerry's in his own world, and when you have that kind of FU money like he has, then he's not living in the same reality as the rest of us.
All right. Mr. Scott, your Vikings gave safety the bag. But other than that, and you did speak about your defense. But Mr. Scott, what's going on up there in Viking land? Is McCarthy the man? I mean, are you going to ride with the guys you got? Is the fan base hollering to get Kurt back? What's going on there? In your backfield, are we going to have running back by committee? Give us a little insight there, Mr. Scott.
Well, it's very interesting because I've read some things from some of these shade tree pundits that, they give predictions of what divisions are going to be. And they said for the Central Division, the Vikings would be last, that Chicago would be first, Detroit. And I'm like, that's a hoax. I mean, what's going on in camp right now is they are preparing the number 1 draft pick to start the season and be ready to play. Now, they've got a couple of tough games where they're playing overseas. I think a couple of games right in a row. And they haven't seen this guy play, so I imagine we're going to see him in the preseason. But, I mean, I think everything is shored up. They've signed a lot of good free agents to take over starting positions. We're worried a little bit about Addison. He had some kind of legal thing going on. He might be suspended for a few games. I'm not sure what they're going to do with that. But, we're deep at every position. Yeah, and Aaron Jones, and then the gentleman they picked up from San Francisco in the backfield. So it probably will be running back by committee. But again, the big thing is J.J. McCarthy. If this works, it should be full speed ahead. I'm not going to go full-blown Demetrius. I refuse to do that at this point. But I think it's full speed ahead. It really looks good if this gentleman can really play, and that's a real unknown. Very much a real unknown for J.J. McCarthy. But I don't predict us to be last in the division. I mean, I think that's a hoax. That's witch hunt talking. There's no way we're last. And we'll probably be the top in the division. I mean, I'm not sure. It's going to be such a tough division, though. And I left out Green Bay. They've rated them higher than the Vikings. So, the shade tree pundits, if you want to put your money on them, go to Vegas. You go ahead. Go ahead. I won't stop you if that's what you want to do. But I'm thinking things look good. Minnesota, very good.
All right. Bill. Once again, I'm gonna, because I want you to talk about the Steelers, but right now we're going to talk about the Bears since we just got finished talking with Mr. Scott. Bill, one of the most absurd things that I've heard, and maybe I can't even see how this is motivation. To me, this is kind of overachieving, especially in the spot that he's in. But there was an article where Coach Ben Johnson said that he expects Caleb Williams to complete 70%, Bill, of his passes. Is this even realistic with that wide receiving core and line?
Yes. Look at the receivers. Now, obviously, he's a very different kind of player, but look at the receivers. So a few guys have been over that line, right? The first time it ever happened in the history of the NFL was, believe it or not, 1974, and it was Ken Anderson, right? And then that record stood for a very long time, so it was eventually broken 25 plus years later by Drew Brees. But what do both of those offensive schemes have in common? The ball came out quickly. Now, it came out quickly in 74 for Ken Anderson because, look at the defenses they were playing against. It was being a quarterback in the early 1970s. Look at the defenses, right? It was a real murderer's row of great defenses he faced, and he played at a super high level, MVP level that year. 70.55, I believe, was what his completion percentage was that year. And to put it in perspective, the next closest was a player that came in just over, I think 58.1 or 58.2 was the next closest quarterback in completion percentage that year. So they're playing a different game, frankly, almost. If you are using ball control passing and you're running the ball well enough, that's what's contingent upon. You mentioned, the wide receiving core, you mentioned the offensive line. I would say, is the running game effective enough that people can't just sit on and defend against the pass? Now, Williams is a good enough athlete that he can take off and gain a certain number of yards. Not Justin Fields. He's not that. But he's a good enough athlete who can pick up some things on his own. He can extend plays. But he wants to build an offense similar to, obviously, what he had Jared Goff doing. And Goff, not a supremely talented player physically. Above average arm, above average height, and then average. Luckily, Dimitri's in there and everything else. But tough guy, smart guy, does the offense, does exactly what the offense says to do. Now, Caleb Williams comes from a sort of free jazz kind of approach previously in his collegiate career where, Caleb just sort of made certain things happen, both in high school, Cardozo High, and then later at two different colleges, sort of improvised. Now he's reining all that stuff in, and it's going to be hard for him at first. But I think once he's adjusted and become inured to the new system, I think he'll look good. Now, I don't know if he'll hit the 70 mark for the season. I think by the end of the year, he could be hitting 7 of every 10 passes. The receiving core is actually really good. The line is better. I think it will be better. But like I said, to me, it'll come down to can they keep them honest running the football so that he won't be in 3rd and 7 more. I guess I'll roll right into final thoughts. A lot of attention was paid. A lot of attention was paid to the passing of Terry Bollea, also known as Hulk Hogan. And a lot of people talked about, an outsized personality with a complicated history. But I'm not going to talk about him. I think he's been discussed to death. I'm going to talk about another athlete whose birthday is today, July 30th, 1981. And that's Hope Anelia Stevens, formerly Hope Solo. And she was the first goalkeeper in women's international soccer history to have 100 career shutouts. She could be a polarizing figure at times. She was not able to sort of keep her thoughts to herself about certain things, and now she is a podcaster, unsurprisingly. And maybe she won't be celebrated, when she comes to her in the same way that some people have celebrated Hulk Hogan, despite the fact that she's a real athlete and he was a fake athlete. But when she was at the peak of her game, it was not even a question. She was the best goalkeeper in women's soccer, period. Like, there was no discussion of it when she was at her very, very best. And she was at her very best for a long time. I think she went to 3 Olympics and won 2 of them, or helped to win 2 of them. I mean, some people, you do sort of give goalkeepers wins and losses, I guess. So it's sort of like being a starting pitcher. But her teams won a lot. In high school, her teams won a lot. She was a 2-time parade All-American in high school. I think she might have been a 2-time all-conference, maybe 3-time all-conference in the old Pac-10/12. And once again, multi-Olympian, every single international honor. You could a Golden Glove winner, which is what they call the top goalie award, sort of like in baseball. She was tremendously athletic. She had size. She had great instincts. She had great reflexes. But yeah, she was stood up for herself and women's soccer at a time when women's soccer was sort of on the rise, but still seen as sort of a secondary kind of activity. She talked about equal pay. She talked about, respect, and sometimes criticized, and bit, as some people say, the hand that feeds you, or whatever you want to say. And eventually, at one point, was removed from the U.S. international team, rather controversial move. And, Megan Rapinoe said that she thought that's why it was. Like, it wasn't, though there was some stuff and her family stuff and whatever stuff. And she is, like I said, a controversial figure. And if you haven't read her book, her autobiography, I urge you to read it. It's fascinating. She had a fascinating life. She's still just 44 years of age, hopefully in her, new role. And of course, she and her husband, Jeremy Stevens, who you may also remember as an all-conference tight end at Washington, who had a decent NFL career as well. I'm excited to see what comes out of the last half of her life. But on this day, I remember the fascinating person and tremendous athlete that Hope Solo was, and the person that she is.
Very good, Bill. Very good. Like I said, you and Reg are becoming our soccer go-to guys here on the Sports Grid. Mr. Scott, final thoughts.
Oh, I don't know. I've been just kind of, a little down about things lately, thinking about, and then people like Ryan Sandberg, that we grew up and, just a great ball player and just seemed to really just go about his business playing ball, and it was just one of the things, as kids and as you get, you get older, you start looking at these things and you look at, the amount of people that you've known, that things change, the great Jim Marshall, who I talk about a lot. And, sports is a tough, we look at it and we like the games and we watch, but it's, for their health. I mean, is there a lot of longevity in health and the CTE and all of these things? I have a good friend that played for the Lions, Lim Barney.
Oh,
He actually gave me his book, Life Story, signed it for me. He went to the preacher at the church my sister went to in Detroit. And it was kind of funny. He gives me the book, and who wrote the foreword was Bill Cosby. And so, But and he has dementia now,
Yeah.
and he's in a whole different ball game, and so this thing about life is it's real, and sometimes we're entertained, but I just lately been kind of reflecting on some of those things.
Yeah. Did you know Lynn Barney has a Grammy?
Yes, he's saying on. I saw it. He's saying on What's Going On
What's
with
going on,
Marvin
right?
Gaye. Marvin Gaye tried out for the Lions.
For the Lions, yeah, he did.
tried
Despite
out
the fact
for the
he
Lions.
didn't play high school football, but he still tried out for the Lions.
Yeah, he still tried out for the Lions receiver. Yeah.
So the other voices you hear in that sort of right before the song really begins, there's a bunch of guys talking. It's Miller Farr.
Mel Farr was on there.
Miller Farr, Lynn Barney, and of course Marvin.
Interesting fact. I'm sure some of us didn't know that. Me being one. Don, take us home here. What's going on?
Well, I have two final points, and I wasn't thinking about the first one, but Bill struck my brain because he's full of fascinating facts. So the other day, I was on my couch watching TV, going through just channel surfing, and I went to YouTube, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to relive my childhood. So there was a show I used to watch called Land of the Lost.
Yes.
So I
the
started
Sleep
watching.
Stack.
Yes, the Sleep Stack, which brings my point. Bill Lambier was a Sleep Stack and Land of the Lost. I saw in the credits it said Bill Lambier. I said Bill Lambier.
Yes. Yep.
There can't be two of them. So I looked, and I did my little rabbit hole search, and he was off season. He played basketball, I think somewhere in California, maybe, and he went to this audition. They said we need someone that's over 6'3" or 6'4", and he's 6'9", whatever, and he's a freaking Sleep Stack.
Yes.
I don't know that. That was awesome. So, James, do you know what Sleep Stacks are?
No, I do not.
They live in a fantasy world of Saturday morning TV.
How about the Sid and Marty Krofft, wherever you are, the late Sid and, I guess maybe late. I don't know if they're there or not, but
No, they're still alive.
Oh, way to go, Sid and Marty Krofft. Way
I
to
think,
be alive.
last time, as of last year, they were still alive. So I always thought that Land Lost would be perfect for a remake, but not a comedy, like the serious shit. But anyway, it's not going to happen.
Wait,
You mean like a Jurassic Park type?
In a reboot of it?
What's that?
Didn't Will Ferrell star in a reboot of Land of the Lost?
Yeah, but not with Will Ferrell. It was a comedy. I don't know.
You want like Willem Dafoe instead, and like a real terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, Sleep Stacks aren't. That's not funny shit. That's scary shit. So no Will Ferrell. So anyway, my other final thought is I lost a friend and a mentor this week. Dave Shobe was one of our coaches in high school. And like a lot of coaches, he got into school administration, and he gave me my first job.
Oh.
Didn't even have to interview for it. I ran into him in the supermarket. He said, "What are you doing, Hayes?" I said, "Well, I'm getting ready to go to law school in next semester, but I'm here taking care of my dad." He goes, "Well, you should get on the sub list." I said, "The sub list, where at?" He goes, "Well, East Central." Oh, okay. So I did. And I actually liked it. And so I said, well, I'm going to put off law school. I can go back later. I like this. He gave me an opportunity to coach. And the rest is history. I never went to law school. But he unfortunately, he suffered from some health issues. The final one was Alzheimer's. And so we laid him to rest on Saturday. So that's my final thought. Godspeed, Coach Shobe.
Godspeed.
Well, guys, I do have a final thought tonight because there are reports out of Pittsburgh about this wonderful relationship between ayahuasca and Arthur Smith.
Yes, you've avoided that for the show. I'm noticing that you waited. You've avoided that. I've been waiting to see what was going to have us talk about Iowa. You've avoided that. You avoided that whole section that was on the thing. You was supposed to be talking about that.
No, Dave was supposed to be talking about that, but unfortunately, Dave's son is in the hospital, and
All right. Well, you're a tag team partner, so you know.
so well, I am because everyone knows how I feel about ayahuasca, so I don't have to make that. I don't have to
You
go through
belittled the
that.
man. You made up a name for him. You belittled the man, and now you got the man. See, that's what happens when you do that kind of stuff.
It's called karma, Mr. Scott. Yeah. But I'm wondering why, like all of a sudden, they make out, these, I'm hearing about this wonderful relationship between Tomlin and ayahuasca. I'm looking at the trades that we've made going through the three tight end situation, whether or not where he can handle it. Uh, right now, I'm still, hoping that we can get more than 8 games out of ayahuasca, considering the schedule that we play. As I said, we played the NFC North. We also played the Seahawks and the Chargers. Both at least one of them will be a shootout. But I'm at a loss here because I never knew that that there was such a warm, fuzzy relationship. Considering that we waited until the last day to sign him, and when he was basically the only person available. So I mean, maybe Bill, maybe you could make sense out of this because I don't see it. I mean,
Well, what's
I
the
can make
record? What record are you predicting? What is your record prediction?
I can make perfect sense of it. And
if you want to know what I think our record will be, Mr. Scott, and I'm going to say, I realistically, I think we'll be 6-11. That's what I think realistically. But
wow.
all things,
Very pessimistic. Wow.
being all things being equal, we might be able to eke out 8-9 record.
Well, then that would be the end of your coach. 6-11. That would be it.
Well, you've heard my rants. I've sent you some things that I've written, and I really think that this is the last contract for Mike Tomlin, unless we make a playoff, and maybe even we might even have to have a playoff win, because I look at this season as a vote of non-confidence for Mike Tomlin. But that's me. I want to thank you guys, Don. I've seen pictures of you all over Texas, and you've just been having a good old time there, getting out different settings. So I see you're enjoying married life very much. Bill, how's your plans going?
well, we signed some contracts for venues, and we're shelling out money. So I guess it's real. Money makes things real here in America. So if you are going to be in the Chicagoland area, we're having an engagement gathering on the 31st of October, and then the big shebang bang is it's going to be in Virginia Beach, my hometown, the next Halloween of 2026. Yes, I thank you, Don.
If you need an officiant,
well,
I'm legit.
I'm taking bids, so please submit your information and your addresses. Everyone, please send me your addresses so I can send you guys invitations.
All right, guys. Hey, great night tonight. As always, enjoy it. Mr. Scott, enjoy having you around. What's going on in your neck of the woods? Any events planned? Anything going on? New premiere?
other than I'll send out an email. We my nonprofit, we did a documentary that's been kind of based on the books and things that we did. So we just put together a preview, and we lucked out and got a really good couple of good producers in town. One of the guys that helps us, his sister is an announcer for the Lynx, used to play pro basketball, and the other guy who did most of the filming, he helped Prince with Purple Rain, and he worked in LA for years with Prince. So it's I'll send a preview. It's only about a couple minutes, and I can send that out by email. And so we're working on that, and it's kind of the main thing right now. This political thing is, I'm trying to keep that on the back burner, but so I can send that out if people are interested in looking at it.
All right, guys. Well, hey, have the great rest of the week, and appreciate your time. And hey, have a good one, everybody.
Good night, everybody. See you in a week.